This first hangout is going to be with someone named Toby, who is frequently in the chat of the streams, and
Hello.
oh, what's up?
I'm eating a little dinner.
Welcome to Michael Gerry livestream Google Hangout.
How are you?
Good. What'd you have for dinner?
I'm having cauliflower with onion and garlic and Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Put that shit on everything. And I'm having chicken breast with green salsa and cotija cheese.
Smells delicious.
It's pretty good. It's my my best. Let me see if I'm on my iPad. I tried to get my computer locked up, so I'm going to use the iPad.
Your connection looks really good. The image quality is really good.
We have pretty high speed internet. We have five. What is it? 5K?
5G.
Yeah, we have 5G, but we have it in 4 locations. So we even have internet in our barn.
What are those little like all those devices that you showed me? Are those all routers?
Yeah, those are all the routers. Yeah, wired routers throughout the house. We have internet, TV, VoIP phone on the back porch. We have internet in our barn that was built in the 70s. And
do you go do a workout there?
Well, so the second floor of the barn needs to be refinished. We gutted it and then moved on to another project, but we need to take the walls off and put new exterior walls, new floors. I'm going to redo it in cedar, and I'm going to move my jukebox out there and my barber chair, and I'm going to rent it out as a barn B&B, I think, or just have it for friends and guests to come over. I mean, we have two guest rooms in the house, but the barn is kind of isolated, and so it's, I might want to put family or friends out there. The only problem is it's not hooked up to the septic or sewer system, so I'm going to have to buy an Incinelette toilet, which is an incinerator toilet.
Okay.
So you pee and poop in it like a regular toilet. You push a button, and it collects it all in like a coffee filter.
Mm-hmm.
And you push a button, and the coffee filter drops down into the burner. There's an incinerator underneath on the toilet, and it basically incinerates, the urine evaporates, and it incinerates the poo down to a fine charcoal or fertilizer dust. And then you at the end of the month, you take it out. It doesn't stink, and it has an exhaust to the outside. And then shower, I would just have to put a shower in and have it run out to the pond.
So is an incinerator toilet, is that cheaper than like running plumbing to the place?
Well, so maybe not, but do you know anybody incinerator toilet?
That's a good point.
So
that's what it's all about.
How many times have you shat on a toilet and then set it on fire?
0 in my entire life, and it's my biggest regret.
Oh, well, see, a couple times, but it usually involves a brown paper bag and a front door and a doorbell. But so that's the barn, and we have, everything is wired, and we have TVs in every room and the bathroom, and it's a little crazy at times, but it comes in handy. You never miss anything. So the idea, do you want to hear about that, or do you want to?
Yes. Yeah, hit me.
Okay. So sorry, so I work. So first of all, are they hearing me, or are they only hearing you?
No, it should be both of us. Yeah, it's both of us.
So they can hear both of us?
Yep.
Okay, so I won't talk about the grant specific stuff. So the idea that we have is I'm looking to build a telecommunications capabilities for an austere environment. And an austere environment is one that's undesirable. It's rough. It doesn't have any of the things that you're accustomed to, like power, water, bathrooms, internet, etc. So this is specifically in, I guess no one knows online, but so I deal in disasters. I specifically do emergency and disaster management, and I deal with healthcare. So from a healthcare standpoint, I'm always looking for innovative ways to use technology and to think outside the box and do things that are not normally assumed or used. So what I'm looking at is, and I'll use the example of think outside the box and do things that are not normal. Sorry,
you're good.
So we'll use Hurricane Katrina or pick any of those, San Francisco earthquake, anything where most utilities and municipal functionality is gone. It's basically every person for themselves. So what I'm specifically looking at is improving pediatric disaster medical care. So not just medical care, but very specifically pediatric medical care. Pediatric patients are pediatric age people are 25% of the population, but almost all disaster planning and preparedness is associated with adults. So in a disaster, equipment, resources, supplies, medications, bandages, splints, everything is really set up for the adult population, which is the other 75%. So I'm specifically looking at improving pediatric. And what I'm looking for is this. So if we had Hurricane Katrina and all public municipal utilities were lost, what I would want to be able to do is send a team, a rapid response team of physicians or very few physicians, and nurses, paramedics, EMTs, respiratory therapists, and I would forward stage those in front of the disaster area. So if it's a disaster we know is going to occur, like a hurricane where we can kind of judge and plan where it's going to be, we would move this team forward and park them somewhere safe but close by. And they would have all of their supplies, resources, mobile medical units, mobile tents, whatever it is that they need with them. Then once the disaster comes through and it's safe for the team to go in, because the team is the high priority, because if they're dead or injured, they can't be helpful in the disaster recovery. So when they go into that, let's say we just don't have pediatric emergency doctors and pediatric cardiologists just hanging out on trees. They're kind of hard to come by. So we need to do what we would call a physician extender. And so the way we would do that is through what we would say is telemedicine, or if you prefer, organized live stream. So you
organize what?
Live stream.
Okay.
So I would do, so if I have 40 or 50 pediatric patients that have cuts and abrasions, or they have rashes from wading through the water where all the chemicals are, all these things that your standard doctor, EMT, or nurse is not going to be able to identify. But your specialist could be able to look at it. So what I'm looking to you for is, and even the rest of the people on the group, is to think of a way that you can send a group of people in with completely independent yet sustainable telecommunications capabilities that involves voice and video and live versus recorded. So let's say, so what I'm envisioning, and this is just my lack of knowledge and ignorance, is that I put this high-strung paramedic or nurse, one that likes to traipse through swamps or likes to climb trees or go over mountaintops or whatever, and I put on them a pack. And the pack, whatever this pack looks like, whether it's like a backpack, a harness with clips on it, or what, but on this pack is they have their power supply, they have a portable internet solution, which in this case, for disaster people like myself, I have a phone that is specifically on a bandwidth that only emergency disaster responders have access to. And it's high speed, it's digital, it's, the best that comes along. And during a disaster, when the cellular system gets overloaded, it goes down. This would never go down unless there was physical damage to the towers, but we have a way to back that up. we have our own truck tower that comes along behind us, that stages with us. We roll into an area where there's a problem. We set up our truck tower. It provides us cellular service to run our operations, including phone, data, telemedicine, et cetera. All that is run. It is a generator. It has multiple generators. We bring our gas truck. We power it up, and we have this resource available for us to use. So we send them in. They're wearing this pack or a helmet, a hat, a bow tie camera, whatever it is. And that's where I'm looking to you. And the reason I thought of you was because I saw you climbing up the side of a ravine or something the other day or yesterday or something. And although not austere enough, you were near water. You were climbing up the side of a hill. You were extremely active with that. And so they're going to be the same way. So kind of need them to have something that's, stable, but gets a good view, because what they're going to do is they're going to walk into an environment. Let's say that, it's hurricane related. People have moved to dry area, second floor of a parking garage. There's 150 people amassed in this parking garage to stay out of the water. And of this 150 people, then we have, I don't know, my math is bad, but let's say 75 of those or 65 of those are pediatric patients. They have rashes, they have cuts. One of them has cystic fibrosis. 15 of them have asthma. They have all these medical conditions that a paramedic or nurse, though they might know what to do, they're not licensed to do it. But on their shoulder right here, and I like to think of the good angel and the bad on your shoulder. And so on this shoulder, there's a camera, or right in front of the chest or whatever, and they're looking at patient, and we'll call it patient Michael. And Michael has got a rash on their abdomen and a twisted ankle, but it's very swollen. It could be broken. It might not be broken. And so then they're going to turn to the good devil or whatever, to the doctor, and say, we have a 10-year-old male that was going through water, evacuated from a house, has a history of asthma, uses insulin as a diabetic, is allergic to sulfa drugs and latex. They also have a swollen right ankle, and they're going to be looking at them, and they're going to be panning down. And I'm envisioning, the reason I say a helmet or a hat is because I'm envisioning a heads-up display, so that the person that has the camera on them can look up and see what is being seen, so that they know at all times what they're showing to the physician or the specialist back in Salt Lake City or New York City or Toronto or wherever they're at. And so they're looking at this, and they're like, and they have a swollen ankle, and they look down. Don't look at my bald spot. And they look down, and they look at the ankle. Is there glare? Sorry. They look down, and they go, oh yeah, that ankle is, yeah, it's deformed. Check a pedal pulse. Check and see if they have sensation to the toes. Do a Babinski test. Whatever they do, an open drawer on the knee, whatever the test is that you do, and they perform it. Now, they're going to be in an austere environment, so the odds of them being able to do an x-ray are going to be limited to none. But what they can do is they can splint them, put them in a walking splint, and then give them a pair of crutches, call for a transport to meet them at the closest place they can go to, and they send them out to our mobile medical unit or our medical office building in a box that we have out here 4 miles this direction. And there we have an x-ray, because we have this beautiful RV that has an x-ray machine in it, and it's hooked up to generators, and we have our cellular tower parked right next to it, and we can data transmit over that. So what I'm looking at is, I want something innovative, out of the box, doesn't exist, or if it exists, I want to expand upon it and make it my own or our own or its own, so that you're this, you come out and you're wearing a waterproof, trauma resistant, self-contained, fully battery operated. And oh, by the way, it has to be rechargeable using a solar panel or a wind turbine, as well as you could plug it into the outlet back at the RV. And all of that is contained in a functional vest, which, by the way, they need to put alcohol wipes and trauma shears and all that other stuff in it too. And so whether I'm envisioning it, some sort of band or hat, so that you can get the heads up display, you could attach it so that you could put an outlet so that you can put headphones in, or it would have a speaker so that you can hear it, or you can flip it over and they can hear it too. It's just, this is not done. If this has been done before, I'm not aware of it. So that's what I'm looking for. And really, basically, I'm throwing out there so that you can brainstorm and think about it.
Yeah, I think the technology is definitely like just getting to the point where something like that is like possible for a good price, you know, like consumer level stuff, like things that that could be bought and like mass distributed to people like that. I think that technology is like just coming around.
So we're different. We get to forego things. This is related to disasters, and then this is government related. So what I'm working on is I'm working on an initiative that's related to the government, a request from the government. And when I'm saying government, this is federal level, cabinet, federal cabinet level. So if it doesn't exist, if it's imaginable, then it can exist.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's one of those where, like, who makes your whatever it is you wear, harness or whatever?
The backpack is just it's like a skiing heli skiing backpack, but the main device is made by a company called LiveView.
Okay. So if you were to go to live, so I would go to LiveView and say, hello, yeah, I'm working with, and this is what I need. If you make it, it'll be used by the premier rescue group. It'll be the biggest feather in your cap, because your name will be on it. And when we go into disasters and we're standing in front of the national television talking about how we did this, then your unit is going to be there. Would you like to help us make that? And then if they're smart, they'll say yes. And if not, we'll move to the next group. And we'll go to GoPro and say, hey, GoPro, would you like to add to your commercials that you help save pediatric lives in disasters? And then their marketing person wets their pants and says, yeah, can we make you a special GoPro harness? Well, this is what I would like. I'd like a fan also, so it blows down the back of my neck because it gets hot out there in the middle of nowhere. And oh, by the way, we need a cooling unit on the backpack so the battery doesn't overheat, because we're going to be standing out in the sun. Oh, what does that look like? Well, this is what we already use to keep cool in a disaster. Now you can, do this. Or we'll go to the Bill Gates Foundation and say, hey, thanks for that super cool Ebola vaccine Yeti that you made. That holds vaccine at negative 110 degrees for 180 hours. Can you make us one that keeps the battery on our cameras cool? Well, yes, we would love to. Thanks for asking. And so anyway, that's it. So I'm throwing it out there. We use telemedicine already. We already have, we have, like, if you needed to be seen right now, you could pull up our app and you could put your insurance information in and call up, and you're going to get a doctor on the other end of the line, or a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner that says, what's wrong with you? Oh, well, I have this thing. And they're like, oh, well, let's see it. And you show them the thing with your camera, and they go, oh yeah, you shouldn't have that thing. And then they go, yeah, what pharmacy do you use? And they're like, okay, I just send a prescription over for Cipro, and it'll be at the Walgreens located on University Boulevard, and it should be ready within an hour. When you take that, you need to drink plenty of water, and thanks for coming to see us. And then and if it doesn't get any better, follow up this way. And then they send you on your way.
That's being done right now.
Oh yeah, we do that. We've been doing that for years.
Does everyone know about that?
Well, your insurance is like contracted. If your insurance is contracted, then sorry.
I'm blind.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
It's a bald spot. Well, yes, if your insurance uses it, they would send you out in your the letter that you get in the mail that no one opens and throws in the trash. Says, hey, if you ever need to be seen for, like, if you have a cough or a cold or something minor where you don't want to go get out of bed and go into the clinic or the doctor, yeah, you can do it. It's the same cost. You might even have a copay, because if your insurance has an agreement with the company, or like our company or whatever, then they're going to be like, if you use this, you don't even have a copay, and you don't even have to leave your house. And, I've had, sore throat, ear infection, whatever, and I'll just ring up the app and say, yeah, I think I have a sinus infection. Allergies are high, no fever, postnasal drip. They're like, okay, we'll send your Z-Pack to the pharmacy. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And then, you know, I call some delivery service if I don't want to go pick it up. And then, so yeah, all that exists. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's cool. If you, I mean, it would be more like if you think that's something that would be really useful, then I definitely think that's like really possible, especially now. I feel like I really think that's not that dissimilar from the setup that like I use every day, you know?
So I've been asked to come up with something that doesn't exist and that is achievable. And then I just present it.
Okay.
All
And
right.
are you presenting to a government organization for that?
Mm-hmm. And it's not my concern of how it gets achieved. And it's not my concern of how much it costs. Again, not my concern. My concern is to come up with the idea. And so this could be in many other ways. So let's say, so if it was an iPad on a stick, and you know they put the iPad here and they're using FaceTime, not the coolest, not the most logical, but let's just imagine it. So the iPad, then we have our medical. So we've gone to pick a place. There's been a tsunami in south of Asia. And so they're like, as a humanitarian effort, we're going to send this blank team that I'm talking about. We're going to send them over to Phuket, sorry. We're going to send them to Phuket. And when they get to Phuket, we don't speak Thai. But we have our translator, our medical translator app that we use in the hospital every day that has 127 translatable on the other end of the line. So basically, we're FaceTiming or live streaming to a translator that speaks 14 dialects of Thai, and they're like, you know, what's wrong with you? And then they reply back, and the translator then translates it in English and tells the provider. We can do that right with a disaster right now, but it would be making a suite of applications that have all these things and you can deploy quickly. And I know you got like 3 minutes before you have to do another call. So
No, I think that's a sweet idea. I feel like if you could get all of like that technology into one kind of like durable, long lasting, easily rechargeable, like reliable device, like that would be pretty sweet.
So what I'm thinking is that when I put forth a proposal and I get a product, then someone has to test it.
Yes, sweet.
Someone has to be going into an austere environment.
Let's go. I'll go anywhere.
We need someone that's willing to do that. And so that's the other reason I contacted you, because now that I know what you did previously involving that television show, then that lends itself to the credence of me checking it. So when they say, "Oh, well, hey Toby, how do you know this works?" And I'll be like, "Well, so I got this like crazy out there dude who was in a TV show called Fear Factor, and I loaded him up with our kit and said, go out into the middle of Big Bend National Park and test it." And he's doing a live stream 24/7. So if you'd like to see how well it worked, here it is. Go to his YouTube channel. And how I get permission for that is I say, hey, GoPro, there's this dude called Michael Gerry. Is it Gary or Jerry?
Gary.
Michael Gerry, who I would like for you to make this for. I want to put it on him and I want to send him out into the middle of the desert or into the far east Texas, into the piney woods, and get on a boat and go in the middle of the lake, the reservoir. And then I want him to call into our app and tell us that he has a sore throat and a fungus or a rash or whatever. And we're going to look at it. And on top of that, we're going to give him a medical kit, which includes a remote blood pressure monitor, pulse oximeter, thermometer, if I hadn't said that yet, and a scale, all of which are Bluetoothed into the device. And we're going to monitor his vital signs while he's out there. And on a telemetry monitor. So we're going to put his monitor on his heart and monitor his heart and continuously monitor it from the middle of the San Rayburn Reservoir, East Texas, where no one has any freaking cell service. And we're going to do that. And I need that for him, please. Thank you. Okay, bye. So anyway, that's my pitch. Basically, I'm looking for a test dummy, so to speak, but not a dummy.
Oh, darn. You had me in the first half, and then
I said test rummy. R-U-M-Y. Rhymes with dummy, but it's rummy. So anyway, yep, that's it. If you want more details, if you want to be involved, you just need to let me know. And otherwise, it will be happening one way or the other. I already have the know-how. I think I just need to get to the right people and say, "Hey, here's a bank account. Make it."
a bank account. Sick.
That's how it goes. So it's a large sum of money, this grant, and they specifically asked for a focus on the use of innovation and technology, specifically innovating off of telemedicine and out of the box thinking. And out of the box means it could be anything.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think you came to the right live stream. Yeah, for sure. Like that's definitely keep in contact about it. And I'd love to hear how the idea progresses.
Sounds good. At a certain point, I won't be able to share details out loud.
Yeah. No, yeah. No problemo.
Especially the bank account numbers and stuff like
that. Everyone has to. I want the bank account. I want the PIN number. I want it all on the live stream.
We at the federal government, they use Venmo, so you could be transfer 1.2 million by Venmo
with a snowflake emoji.
However, it works. So, any questions or anything I can tell you?
Not at the moment, but it sounds cool, and I'm glad you came on and described it to me because it probably made a lot more sense hearing it than it would reading it.
Well, it's hard to tell.
Are you eating an avocado with a spoon?
Who doesn't? Cut the top off. It makes its own bowl.
That is probably more revolutionary than the whole medical device you just described. And I think that the government needs to push this avocado idea more.
And if you need to make like quick avocado, you can just beat it up while it's still completed, whole, and then mush it, and then cut a little hole in it, and you can squeeze it out like you're putting icing on a cake. And it just works really well.
That is very intriguing.
Outside the box.
Thanks for coming on, Toby.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time.
Definitely. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks.